Hey everyone, have I here bring a video on Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. In this video, we're going to be doing a quick breakdown of the new DOKKANFEST exclusive Super Saiyan 3 DRAGONFIST GOKU and the Hirudegarn. So with that, if you're new to my channel, like, subscribe, comment below, do all that good stuff. Let's go ahead and dive right in. So a big shout out to DBZ Dokkan Wiki for the translations. Goresh also did some translations as well, kind of matched them up. So shout outs to both individuals. I will be using DBZ Dokkan Battle Wiki for the visuals. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So this is the STR DOKKANFEST exclusive Super Saiyan 3 DRAGONFIST Goku. Let's look at the leader skill here. The leader skill is Movie Heroes with Final Trump card, category Q+3, 170% across the board. That is a really strong 2-category leader skill. And then of course Super Saiyan 3 and Kamehameha, which turns into the 200% lead and that additional 30% boost there. So it would have been nice to have a triple double, or at least maybe a double triple. I think Super Saiyan 3 is very limited, especially with Movie Heroes and Final Trump card being the major focus there, and then Kamehameha. You know, that's actually a good wrap up. But it would have been nice to have something in addition to that to run a more robust 200% team, which I'll probably do a different breakdown for a video on that later on. So the super attack here, Super Kamehameha, greatly raises attack and a defense for 1 turn, causes immense damage to the enemy. So nothing overly special there. But you do have a greatly raises attack, which is you know, fairly strong, but no stacking ability, no debuff, no anything of that nature. Then you have the passive skill here is the Dragon's Spirit Fluttering. So this is interesting here. Q+3 attack and defense 200%, which is a really nice boost for a TUR, and then medium chance of performing a critical hit, and then a high chance of evading enemies' attack. So that is normal there, and then plus an additional attack and defense 150% when performing a super attack, plus an additional 159% to attack defense, and a chance of critical hit plus 20% as a second or third attacker in the turn. So seemingly this is going to be a much better second or third position unit, because that is a huge buff there with the 159% to attack and defense and crit. And then you do have an additional 159% chance of performing a critical hit plus 50% when HP is 59% or less, and then great chance of nullifying unarmed super attacks directed to the character. So the unarmed portion here isn't as valuable as Ki Blast, of course, but still this can be very beneficial on certain type of enemies, and I think that's still very strong overall. Now I did notice here on the Goresh translation that Goresh did point out that there is additional boost when you're the second or third attacker of the turn, that you are actually going to get not only critical hit but evade enemies attack plus 20%. So huge benefit there. So like I said, I'm just kind of matching these two up and making sure that you know, all the translations are correct. So in addition to the critical hit in the second or third attacker turn, you are getting an additional 20% to evade as well. So again, it's going to be a really strong second or third attacker. Now you do have a standby skill here, and the standby does last for 5 turns. Standby for 5 turns here. Can be activated when 70% or less starting from, or HP is 70% or less starting from the 3rd turn of the start of the turn, or can be activated from the 6th turn from the start of the turn if your HP isn't below that 70%. So the 70% restriction isn't all that bad. But when you do go by standby, it is a very interesting dynamic here, but we'll show you that in a second. The link skills: Golden Warrior, Saiyan Warrior, Race, Super Saiyan, Kamehameha, over in Flash, Limit Breaking Form, and Fierce Battle. So pretty good overall. So let's see, categories: Super Saiyan 3, Pure Saiyan's Full Power, Movie Heroes, Goku's Family, Kamehameha, Final Trump card, Turtle School, Master Evolutions, Bond of Friendship, Accelerated Battle, Bond of Beyond Power, Beyond Super Saiyan, Bond of Parent and Child, and then Earthbred Fighters. I think with this overall aspect of the passive skill here, not really any kind of restriction besides being a second or third attacker. This is going to be very, very beneficial on each one of these categories. So I think overall, still very, very, very solid here. Now, when you do use the standby here, the passive is Dragon Spirit Flickering. Again, this is where it gets interesting if you do want to use the standby skill or not, because this is one of those standby skills when you're not able to attack until you do the finishing attack here. And you do have attack and defense 333%, which does make sense that your attack is up. I guess when you're doing your finishing effect, that's when it actually activates, plus an additional attack 159% when the character's attacking the turn, and then great chance of evading enemy attack if HP is 59% or less. Chance of evading enemy's attack for 20% for C. Super attack, that's important there, the foresee super attack during the character's attacking turn. Allies key +3, defense 59%, that's huge, plus an additional attack 333% and evades enemy's attack when finishing effect is activated. I guess that's really what they're looking at here, is when you do the finishing effect, you then gather everything else here. So once the finishing effect is activated, then you are in this passive skill here for 5 turns total, right, for the standby. So interesting. Again, I have to see this in action. I guess if you are able to get this finishing attack, directed at you, and this is very important, is it does activate when you are getting hit by an enemy super attack. That's the most important thing. And then you do massively raises attack temporary, counters with a super intense power, and then within the turn activated, and then all attacks become crits. And I'm guessing then once you do the finishing effect, you're still in this passive skill until the 5 turns is up. And then once the 5 turns is up, you're done with the standby, and then you go back into this form. So once you're in this form, you're super strong, right? Attack and defense 333, and then the great chance of evading if HP is 59% or less, and then chance of evading enemy attack by 20%. And then the foresee enemy super attack, that's huge right there. Okay, interesting. Again, I'm guessing that's how it's written here. It makes sense that once you go standby, you get this finishing attack activated as soon as possible, and then you stick around in this Dragon Spirit Flickering for however remaining turns that's going to be left on there. I don't think it goes automatically back to this immediately. So you do want to actually use the standby skill as soon as possible, with all said and done here. So I think it's a super useful unit overall. Again, on all these categories here, you don't really have too much limitation on this, and it's going to be a great floater unit or a great second position unit. And but we'll also see if this is also a great team to run. Is this now the revival of movie Heroes back in the top 10? When this does come out on global, we'll see on there. But then final trump cards already very strong. So that is the Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Let's quickly go through the Hirudegarn here, which is probably going to be very similar, right? Movie bosses and resurrected warriors 170%, and then legendary existence and transformation boost for the 200% on there. Movie bosses, resurrected warriors. Of course, transformation boost is always good. Movie bosses is I guess okay, right? You have certain units that are still feasible here, and then resurrected warriors, okay. Interesting. We'll see what that team looks like. You do have a super attack which is stacking defense, okay, interesting. So Goku is going to be definitely more on that dodging mechanic. Now with this is going to be more stacking defense. Let's see if there's anything here that's going to be a lot different. Entrance animation, key +3, attack and defense 100%, and high chance of performing critical hit for 5 turns from the start of the turn, okay. And then attack and defense 200% plus an additional 100% attack when attacking, and then great chance of evading. So this is also going to be a dodge unit on here at a much better dodging chance at 70%. Launches additional attack, has a great chance of becoming a super attack. Okay, and within the same turn after evading attack, and then plus an additional defense 10% with each attack evaded, up to 50%. It's not that high. I would have assumed that could have gotten a lot higher. So attack and defense 200%. So this is definitely more of an attacking or dodging unit, but then you can raise your defense up to a particular amount of stat that if you do get hit, you'll be okay. Okay, it's interesting here. This is a transformation condition. It's not a standby skill. So the active skill here, transform, can be activated when 70% or less HP for third turn or the sixth turn. So exactly the same condition as the Goku, but this is not a standby. This goes right into a transformation. We'll see how strong the Hirudegarn is after transformation here. And then link skills, Brutal Beatdown, Berserker, Bid Back Bosses, which is good, Revival, Nightmare, Fear and Faith, Fierce Battle looks pretty good. The link skills there, categories, Resurrected Warriors, Movie Bosses, Transformation Boost, Time Travelers, Planetary Destruction, Legendary Resistance, and Storied Figures. No giant form. Interesting enough. Yes, we don't have a normal giant form on here, but it's not that many categories. Okay, but seemingly a very, very strong unit. And no discrepancies from Gores's translation here, so we're good. Let's go ahead and move on to the transformation of Hirudegarn. So you do have this form here, which they're calling it complete, right? Complete form. So this is greatly raises attack for 1 turn. So the defensive stack stops. Let's see, the passive skill here is attack and defense 250%. Okay. NQ +3 plus an additional attack 150% when attacking, plus an additional attack and defense 100%, a high chance performing critical hit as a first attack in their turn, and then launches additional attack has a great chance of becoming super attack. Okay, that's just on top of that, a great chance of evading enemies' attack. So that stays the same, nothing changes. Launches additional attack, has a high chance of becoming super attack within the same turn of evading attack. High chance or a chance of evading enemies' attack, and a chance of performing critical hit 10% with each attack evaded at the same turn, and then evades enemy attack within the next attacking turn. Each time the character evades 3 attacks within the same turn. And so you have an automatic. Okay. This is pretty wild. This is a wild passive here. So if you evade 3 times within whatever turn you are in, the following turn, evades enemy attack within the next attacking turn each time. Within the next attacking turn. Is that the next turn that you are guaranteed evasion if you evade 3 times within the same turn? Is that what I'm reading there? That's really wild. Okay, all right. It seems like what you want to do is you want to transform as soon as possible. I guess if you want a defensive stack, then you stay in this form, but this seems pretty broken. Okay, I think both of these units are interesting. Again, they don't have a lot of a scenario where you need to have another unit or some sort of restriction. I think they're both pretty good standalone units. You can just drop into one of these categories or actually lead a team. I will go ahead and break down those teams in another video, but this is the initial breakdown here. What do you guys think? I think both of them seemingly are very useful, very strong units on paper here, but we will see them in action. So anyway, with that, if you're new to my channel, like, subscribe, comment below, do all that good stuff. Thank you all for watching. Keep on dokkaning. We'll catch you next time. Later.